Hello everybody, the Great Dino Ranger here again, back with another review. Today we got a special one. We're going to be taking a look at the awesome Jurassic World Legacy Collection Reimagined Giganotosaurus versus Therizinosaurus. So this is my last review of the items I got for Christmas, at least the ones I planned on reviewing. And why not finish it with a big home run, I guess you can say, with this awesome and really massive set. And I'm just super stoked to have this in my collection because these two look awesome. So we got this new Giganotosaurus versus Therizinosaurus pack based on the final battle in Dominion. And yeah, this is just awesome. So it's the Dominion battle, but reimagined with some old school Kenner colors as well as some old school Kenner like features, especially with the Giga. And I'm just super stoked to have this in my collection because these two look really good. Now, I thought I was going to be done with the Giga and the Therizinosaurus after the Hammond collection, but with these two figures, I just had to get them. So taking a look at the packaging here, on the side it says Real Feel, and you got, because it says you can try me right here, where it has the Real Feel rubber. You got the awesome logo, Jurassic World Legacy Collection, Giganotosaurus versus Therizinosaurus. And it says Reimagined right here. Really do like that logo. Very Jurassic in my opinion. And it just shows you that there's some little gimmicks with the Therizinosaurus. And I absolutely love the background here of this entire box. As you can see, it is just basically all of the Biosyn courtyard at the sanctuary. And you can see the forest in the background, and it's all covered in flames from the locusts, and it's raining. Just the detail in the packaging in the back is really awesome. That's why I kept the package, because it's just so cool, and it captures the moment from Dominion very nicely, especially with these new colors. And I just love the overall purple aesthetic that we're getting with this packaging, because it fits so well, especially with the colors of the dinosaurs. Like, there's just something very retro about this set, and I don't know, I just love the packaging a lot, just as much as I love the figures. So we're gonna take a look at the other side of the box. Up here it says Jurassic World Legacy Collection. Here we have the Jurassic World Legacy Collection logo. And then here on the other side, we have just some pictures of the Giga and some of its features, like it can eat small dinosaurs, which I don't know why they don't ever just portray it eating humans. It says Chomp and Reveal, much like your Super Colossals, and it's got the Jurassic World Legacy Collection logo as well. And then here on the back is probably one of my favorite pieces of this packaging, other than the awesome artwork up front. But you got a really nice picture on the back portraying both the Giga and the Therizinosaurus. As you can see up here, it says the Legacy Collection, and it shows you some cool little gimmicks of like what the figures do, and it says Real Feel. But other than that, you got some really nice renders of the Giga and the Thera from Dominion, and these look awesome. And on this packaging, you can see just all the beautiful detail on these renders, and they're all edited to be the same colors as the figures. As you can see, there's more stuff down here, the Mattel logo, Reimagined logo, some FAQSAP information, Giganotosaurus versus Therizinosaurus. It says the Giga has a posable tail, and some slashing action for the Therizinosaurus. And then, yeah, just the beautiful artwork back here, which is just super awesome. I love just looking at this packaging, which is, again, why I kept it, because it's just so cool looking. So really cool to see these renders, especially with the the colors of the toys. So yes, that's about to be it for the packaging. I really do adore the packaging on this one so much. I know I keep on saying that. But yeah, let's go ahead and open this set up. Alrighty, so here we have the Jurassic World Legacy Collection Reimagined Giganotosaurus and Therizinosaurus out of the box. Now, the only assembly that needs to be done with this one is just the Therizinosaurus's tail. Having these two out of the box, these two look really great. I love the colors. I just love the overall look. They definitely do give off a kind of a retro vibe a little bit from like the 90s Kenner Jurassic Park line. But these ones also remind me a lot of like something you get from like Chap May for their Animal Planet line, with all the cool dinosaurs that they have, because they always come out with like really cool, crazy color designs, just cool features. So it's like a mix of what you would get from Kenner, in addition to like the Chap May Animal Planet line, maybe even similar to the early 2000s, I want to say, but the line called Jurassic Park Dinosaurs, that one had a certain vibe to it that I feel like these two would have belonged to very nicely. But that's just my opinion. Don't know why. That's just the kind of vibe I get. So that's all I kind of pretty much think about when I look at these two, and they look really good. Now, I know, without doubt, Mattel's Hammond Collection, Giganotosaurus and Therizinosaurus are already, the best versions of these dinosaurs from Mattel, period. And it's going to be like that for hopefully forever. So after getting those, I didn't think I was going to get any more Gigas or Theros, but when this set came out, I knew I had to get it. So while these ones, sculpt-wise and everything, aren't like the best versions of those dinosaurs in terms of movie accuracy, maybe in terms of playability, like for kids and all that, and something that I would have definitely played with as a kid, these ones definitely take the win for that, for just playability in general, because they look really great. Now, one thing to notice too is that these ones are actually based off of the original Dominion toy designs from these same figures. They're just the same reused designs from the Dominion toy line, just somewhat retooled here and there. Because I'll tell you, there's a difference in the size of the Thera. There's a difference in the sculpt with the Giga here and there. And both of their feet are now reduced and a lot more proportionate, which is something that the Dominion ones did not have. And I can't wait to do comparisons later. But let's just take a brief look at both of these. Take a look at the Therizinosaurus. Overall, design-wise, it's the same one from Dominion, the original Dominion toy, just a bit smaller, no electronics, and there's interestingly no real feel with this one. It's only for the Giga. I'm sure the set would have been maybe a bit more higher priced if both of these were real feel, but it's fine. I pretty much was only thinking the Giga was gonna be real feel anyway. Really no reason to have a Thera, especially for someone that's covered in feathers, to be real feel. But I will say, it would have been nice if this Therizinosaurus kind of kept the newer design from the Chaos Theory Therizinosaurus toy that just came out. That design is a bit more movie accurate, and I would have preferred that sculpt like this with the action feature and the colors and everything. Because this one is just more of like the Therizinosaurus that looks a bit more carnivorous than that of a herbivorous dinosaur, but that's just my opinion. But sculpt-wise, it's pretty much the same from the Dominion one. Nice amount of sculpt detail here in the face, a nice little beak, got some nice feathers, and then here across the body here, the top half is just all covered in feathers, which are nicely sculpted, I will say. Nicely sculpted feathers, kind of hard to see, but you can definitely tell, which part of the body is feathers and which one's just skin. So yeah, the feathers are nicely sculpted, as you can see. So Mattel does a really nice job when it comes to feathers, and especially here at the tip of the tail, nicely sculpted feathers with a nice little skinny tail fan. Then here at the side of the body, pretty much everywhere else is just kind of skin. Some nice wrinkles in the skin here at the back of the head. And then here, some nice little line textured skin sculpted in here for the neck. Same with the body, some nice skin texture sculpted in, and then same with the arms, nice muscle definition in the arms themselves. As you can see, most of the arms are just bare skin, but you got some nice feathers on the edges of the arms, or the bottoms of the arms right here, which look really nicely sculpted. Hands look nice little ridges on the fingers, and nice scale detail on the inside of the hands as well. The claws look really great, nice amount of basic sculpt work on the claws. They look nice and sharp, but they're obviously not very sharp at all, even though they're harder plastic. But they look really nice. Here at the bottom, some nice amount of lined skin texture sculpted in, which looks really nice, and that continues all the way down to the tip of the tail. Maybe it kind of fades into feathers a little bit, but still the sculpt work is really nice. Then here at the legs, nice amount of feathers sculpted in for this part of the leg. Some nice muscles kind of poking through the sculpt right there. Really brings out kind of like the realism of these animals, and some nice skin lined texture for the rest of the leg, and a nice little kneecap sculpted in right there. But yeah, it just looks really nice for the rest of the leg. Same with the foot. Here, we'll go on to this one. The foot looks really nice ridges here on the toes, and they're definitely a lot more smaller, so a lot more proportionate. You got the nice little Jurassic logo here on this foot, nice detail on the underside, and you got the scan code on this one Again, nice detail. You got the little dew claw, which unfortunately is not painted. And then the claws themselves are nicely sculpted. Very basically, but it's still very nice on there. And then here you can even see on the inside of the mouth, you got the teeth are nicely sculpted, kind of sharp, kind of oversized in my opinion. The Hammond collection did it better, but still they look really nice, nicely sculpted. And the tongue is present, it's nicely sculpted. Well, for the most part, there isn't any texture, it's just pretty smooth in there. Same with the inside of the mouth, some nice texture on the roof, but it looks really good in the beak. Looks nice as well. I like the texture on the face. I've always liked that. Detail sculpt looks really good. Matches your signature Dominion Therizinosaurus toy. Two things that strike me: the articulation and the colors. First of all, when it comes to colors, I really do love them. So a lot of these figures, the color-wise, are kind of based off of previous figures. So I don't know what the Therizinosaurus could be referencing. It could be the original Kenner Utah Raptor from the Jurassic Park line from the original movie, because that one was kind of orange with some black markings. So that might be what this one's based off of. The patterns and the colors work really well for a Therizinosaurus. Again, it gives me that Chatmay Animal Planet vibe to it. So I love the colors that we get all throughout the entirety of the body. The shade of orange is really nice too. It's not too bright. It's not too dark where you can't really tell if it's orange or something else. It's just that nice, I don't know how to explain it, but it's a nice shade of orange. And the black markings stand out so well against the orange. It just makes it pop. I love that. And it looks so good with the little splotch marks here on the side, as you can see here on the leg. Really like the dark color around the eye, kind of highlights it more. And I love the stripy appearance, kind of almost lightning-like or kind of jagged, kind of going down the neck. The entirety of the back of the neck is this black color, and it kind of stripes down, splotches onto the back here, and it just looks really good. I don't know, I just love the overall vibe and the appearance of this one. And then you got like this light white underside for the underside of the jaw, going down to the neck and to the chest, and goes just to the middle of the body right here. So sadly, it does not continue down to the tip of the tail. But the colors here work really well in my opinion, and you got like a different shade of like a grayish brown color for the claws, and those stand out, and the same color can be applied or is applied to the toe claws right here. So pretty basic, but it works very nicely in my opinion. Now I like the yellow eye, it makes it stand out, and you got a little circular pupil instead of a slit pupil this time. The teeth are molded, or yeah, I guess they're painted in a different shade of light beige color, different from the white on the body. And the inside of the mouth is like this pink fleshy color, which works really well. So yeah, the head is just super weird on a Therizinosaurus, especially the Jurassic Park one and this toy in general. It just looks so weird, but yet so cool. Sadly, no different paint for the beak. That would have been really nice, but it's not the worst thing. Now for articulation, as you saw, we got an articulated jaw, which is really nice because we didn't get this on the previous Dominion one. You can open it really wide, you can have it roar. And then the tip of the head right here on a ball joint, so it can move in all sorts of different directions. You know, left and right, up and down. It can swivel all the way around, so you get some really nice fluent movement on this one, which is something that's so cool, and I definitely prefer more than just an action feature than the previous one. Including the neck, up and down. It can go down really far, and then go up, left and right, as well as rotate. So you get some really nice little poses with the neck right here. You can make it look to the side, look up, it can look down. So we get some really nice posability with the neck right here. Probably just as much as the Hammond collection, except this one just feels a lot more fluent, a lot more smooth. And then for the arms, these joints right here, you can position them in and out. That's really all you can do. Kind of stiff on mine, but everything else is due to the action feature, which is perfectly fine. And then here for the hands, kind of like the original, they can rotate 360 and they can move up and down. So you can get some nice posability with the claws in any direction you want. And then here for the legs, they can pivot in and out, as well as rotate forward and backwards. No knee articulation, but there is some swivel around the ankles. And then for the tail, just up and down, left and right, and it can just rotate. So you got some nice posability there too. So the articulation is a lot better on this Therizinosaurus than the previous Dominion one. I'd probably say even better than the Chaos Theory one. And then I love the colors too. So the action features, you just got a plain button, just a simple button. And what you do is, look at that. You just swing the claws, the arms and the claws back and forth. That is just such a basic action feature, and I love it. It's just, you don't need any fancy, you know, thrashing the tail and it moves the entire front half of the body. You know, you don't need like some weird twisting feature where you twist it and its whole body kind of twists. Like, no, you just don't need that. For a Therizinosaurus, you don't really need anything. You just need plain articulation and then just a simple button to move the claws. And you can position the claws in any way you want. So this is everything I would have wanted for just a plain Therizinosaurus toy right here. As a kid, anyway. I had the original Chapmay Animal Planet ones, which is very similar. You just push a button and the arms move. Because I guess that's why I like it, because it kind of reminds me of those old school dinosaur toys I had as a kid. And again, if Dominion came out when I was a kid, I would have loved to have this as my Therizinosaurus when I'm playing Jurassic Park. So I'm in love with this. This is awesome. Now we get to the bigger piece, and that is the Giga. So other than the difference in colors and maybe difference in sculpt, this one is made out of a real feel texture. So it's taking inspiration from the original Kenner dinosaurs with their real feel. The sculpt is basically the same as the original Dominion toy. So it's not entirely accurate. It's got that really wide face, which I'm not really a huge fan of, especially when you look at the Giga in the film. So it's got a really huge wide face. It looks so much better here on the side. The teeth are a bit more crocodilian-like, just like the original toy, whereas the one in the film doesn't really have crocodilian interlocking teeth. But everything else primarily is the exact same sculpt for the most part. Some nice skin wrinkles and texture, like especially here on the neck, just some nice wrinkles in the skin, some nice scales here and there. I like these little giant plates on the crest right here, which look really nice. I like the little damage or claw marks on the Giga's face, because it's pretty much the same sculpt as the original toy, so it's going to have a lot of the same things. Nice scales here on the leg, which look really darn nice. You can see some more scratch marks, some more nice detail sculpted into the arms right here, like the little ridges on the fingers. You can see a lot of the muscles kind of poking throughout the sculpt itself, especially here on the arms and the legs, which look really nice as well. The feet are a lot more smaller, which I do like, and the claws themselves are not painted. They just have this inserted different plastic, which is really nice, because then these claws will not get scuffed no matter how much you use it. So that is awesome. Mattel should be doing that with every single figure. Nice detail in the ridges on the toes, some nice scale detail sculpted all throughout the entirety of the figure, or at least the legs and part of the body, which look really nice. And here for the end of the tail, some more scales sculpted in, and then the entirety of the tail is just kind of like this lined texture going on, kind of like just like this rough elephant-like skin, which looks really nice. Here on the underside, nice ridges here on the throat area, which look really nice, and some more nice texture kind of leading up throughout the entire the neck itself. And you got this really beautiful texture here on the underside, which I don't think we got in the original Giga toy, but I think Mattel added that to this one, and I'm pleased by it. It's awesome. It's got this nice crocodilian-like scales, which are pretty accurate to what you got in the movie, and they look really nice. So Mattel did an excellent job with the sculpt work here on the underside, because the scales just look really well done here. And that continues all the way down, even to the tip of the tail, this nice crocodilian-like scale pattern sculpted in. And it just looks just so good. I love it a lot. And you got the dew claw sculpted in right there. Sadly, the claw is not painted, but nice little detail though, I would say. Same here on the other side, pretty much the same thing. And for something that's not Hammer Collection, it is very good. I know there are a lot of people who had problems with the original Giga toy. I didn't really have all that much problems, but this one's definitely much better, in my opinion, without that big crease in the middle. And you got the signature spikes here on the top with the Jurassic Park Giga, and these look really nice. really nicely sculpted as it goes down the spine of the animal, all the way down to the tip of the tail. Kind of more plate-like on this one, which is really cool because you can see they're just kind of like overlapping with each other, especially here on the side. Nicely sculpted for the armored scales here on the back of the Giga. And now for the colors, I love the colors on this one. Green, I don't know why, fits so well for a Giga. This might be because I remember seeing a lot of the older Giga photos in like my old dinosaur books where it had like that classic green Giga picture or model or whatever it was. And I guess that's what I'm being brought to, just the green colors for a Giga. This was obviously way before Giga ever made an appearance in any Jurassic movie, but still, I just love the shade of green that they added to this Giga. It just works so well. And it's a lot more different than what we got in Dominion. Color-wise, I think this might be based off of the original electronic screaming Dilophosaurus from the original Jurassic Park toy line in Kenner, where it had like that green color, the white underside, and the red throat area. So I think that's what it's taking inspiration from. But even though it's taking inspiration from a Dilophosaurus, the colors applied to a Giga, they work so well together. Because I just love the green on the top half. And I love the white kind of mixed in too. The white for the underside, oops, dropped it, which only continues to about this part of the tail. So at least it's not to the half of the body. But again, would have been really nice if Mattel just added just a little bit more extra paint to the tip of the tail. That's just my opinion. But I like the white color they added to the bottom. I like how it kind of stripes up into the face, which looks really nice, and stripes up into the side of the body, which just kind of gives it this really nice appearance. Very similar to a Chap-May dinosaur, because they always have like the cool striping effect. And you got a little bit of that striping effect here onto the side of the legs, which again look really nice. And then you got the arms are just plain white, but it's not bad. And then here for the other side, it's the same thing, nice white applied. And that pretty much goes to the inside of the legs too a little bit. So that is really nice. Added detail. You can see it just kind of bleeds into the other side a little bit. That is really cool. And then you got that really nice throat pouch that's like this red color, which works really well and complements really well with these two colors. Now the original picture that we saw in the box, the red kind of continued from like the bottom of the jaw a little bit, maybe like more on the underside, and kind of briefly disappears into the chest. Would have been nice if it was kind of a bit more heavily applied, like it just maybe a bit more on the throat or just the bottom of the head a little bit, just to make it feel a bit more complete. But either way, the color just fits so well with the rest of the figure. So I really do like that red throat pouch touch to it. And then the eyes are a nice bright orange with this time a circular black pupil instead of a slit like in the movie. So that is really cool. A nice little change in scenery right there. I like that a lot. And then the toe claws are molded in this dark gray plastic, so they're not painted, but it still looks good. The teeth here are molded in like this beige cream color, different from the white on the body, and they look really nice. Really nicely sculpted. Kind of weird to have a Giga have 2 rows of teeth, because that's obviously not accurate. But it does give it like this really gnarly looking appearance, which I do like. And then the inside of the mouth is like this pinkish, fleshy color, and it's very glossy to kind of give it like that wet saliva look, which is really cool. Really nice piece of detail right there. For articulation, we got 2 different hinges for the jaw. Top jaw, just up and down, and the lower jaw. They can move individually, or you can move them at the same time. So you get this really nice wide bite look to it. And it doesn't close all the way, but it doesn't bother me that much. But that's really cool. The arms here, they can just move, pivot in and out, unlike the Dominion one. And then they can just move 360. So nice amount of articulation there. For the hind legs, it's kind of somewhat of a ratchet joint, but they just move forward and backwards. That's pretty much it. And interestingly, they pivot in and out, which is something you never got in the previous one. And then there's some ankle articulation that just swivels, which you do have to align them back up once you take it out of the box. And then after that, you got a bendy wire in the tail, because the tail, well, majority of the body, but it's got bendy wire, are made of a rubbery material. But yeah, the tail has bendy wire. It's not as good as the T-Rex, but It's good for what it is, I guess. And then for action features, I guess there's a couple of things. One, this dinosaur can eat and swallow other figures or humans. The electronic sounds and the real feel is probably the main gimmicks here. So for the real feel, the head is our hard plastic. Same with this part of the head. You can see the little seam right there. Hard, smoother plastic. But everything else, well, except for the battery compartment, that's hard plastic as well. But everything else is made of a softer rubber. So as you can see, feeling around, that classic rubbery feeling to it, which looks really cool. You can make it look in different directions. Not as fluent as the T-Rex, I will say, but still really cool. Then here at the body, nice amount of real feel texture. It's a little more stiff here where the plates are, but they are made of a softer material. Especially here, you can kind of see you can bend it a little bit. But yeah, nice movable rubber right here. And then it starts to become a bit more stiff, but it's still pretty soft. The legs are hard plastic themselves. And then here, just some more softer rubbery material, a bit more stiff, and then it starts to loosen up right here, where it's just a lot more squishy and just rubbery. And I always love getting these figures. The real feel texture is just super good on this one. And then it has electronic sounds, which I guess we can try that. It's a hidden button here somewhere, like the T-Rex. So let's try it out. Much louder than the original Dominion one. Wow. They're the same sound effects as the original Dominion toy. So there's nothing different. It's got those awesome Giga sounds from the movie. And it's pretty loud too. So yeah, I like the little sound effects. It would have been fine even if it didn't have sound effects, because then you could just got like a really cool real feel giant dinosaur toy. So the sound effects are a cool little addition, but definitely not something that's required all the time, in my opinion. All right, so here we have Dr. Henry Loomis, and the size comparison for these ones is pretty good. Not accurate to what you got in the film, but still just nice little size between them. They're still pretty big compared to a human figure, but still maybe not quite as accurate, especially this Therizinosaurus being a bit more smaller. The Giga is definitely not as big as it was in the film, but still it's a pretty nice scale for just being generic dinosaur toys, not having to do with anything with the movie per se. And then you can just have this guy get eaten. You can just open this up, throw him on in there, and there he goes. He's all the way in there, if you guys can even see that. There he is. So he's all the way in there. Chomp, and look at that. That's so cool. I love this play feature, because then it's just so much better than just having someone pretend to get eaten and just toss the figure aside. No, you literally get to put it in its mouth and it sits in its belly until you're done with it. And then it has a little slit here at the bottom, much like the Kenner Bull T-Rex from the Lost World, where you can retrieve your human figures. As you can see, there's Dr. Loomis down there. So that itself is really cool. Alrighty, so first things first, here we have the Red Rex, the real feel T-Rex from Mattel, from back of 2023, compared with the Giga and the Thera. And I will say, this set was so much, it was this close to becoming another epic battle pack from the Dominion line, where they include 3 different dinosaurs for a really horrible price, just for one human figure for the most part. So Mattel almost did this again, but instead just threw in probably the cooler species, in my opinion, the Giga and the Thera. That itself is really cool, how you can have all of these together. So you got like a different alternate version of the final battle from Dominion. And these all look really great next to each other. Alrighty, so here we have the very original Dominion Therizinosaurus toy compared with the new Legacy Collection Reimagined one. And as you can see, they are definitely different in size. The Dominion one is definitely a lot more bigger, a lot more taller, I think a lot more beefier, I would say. But they look really, really cool next to each other. You can say this is a slightly younger one, or maybe this is a female and this is a male or something. I like them both. They complement each other very nicely. But it's really cool to kind of see this design come back again after a few years. But it's really cool. This one started to lose its battery, so it does not have the sounds anymore. But it's got the really interesting, action features, which I think are just so much better on the Legacy Collection one. But there's a couple of differences, like this jaws has an articulated hinge to it, whereas this one doesn't. The tails are a bit different. One's more thicker than the other one because this one is where the battery compartment sat. This one is a lot more thinner, so a lot more realistic. And the feet are a huge improvement on the newer one. A lot more smaller, a lot more proportionate, not as super goofy or big as the previous one, as you can see. So it's really nice to see smaller feet applied to these figures. Alrighty, so here we have the new Legacy Collection Giga compared with the original Dominion Giga. And as you can see, they are pretty much the exact same sculpt, just different play action features and all that, in different colors. I really do like these colors too, the Dominion one, but I really love the green one. So much like the Therizinosaurus, I like both of these color schemes a lot. As you can see, there's difference in the eyes, obviously difference in action features. Weirdly, the spikes on this one seem a bit more larger than the ones back here. Might be a bit of a different sculpt in this one, except, probably because there's no large distracting little hinge right here. But this one's just a lot more better. There's no distracting hinge in the way. So sculpt wise, I think this one is definitely better. But that's just my opinion. And the teeth are different as well. The teeth on this one are a lot more sharper, and this one are a lot more rounded out, which I thought they were pretty sharp when I first got it, but they're just definitely pretty more rounded out. So Mattel's definitely improving over the years. And as you can see, there's a huge difference in the feet. The feet on this one are so much better looking. They're so much smaller and better proportionate. And these ones are just super oversized, which I'm really glad seeing Mattel kind of fix their or update their figures as time goes on. So that itself is pretty nice to see the difference between these two. So everyone, that's about to wrap it up for this review. I hope you guys liked it. Yeah, I really like this set a lot. I mean, the price is a bit wonky, but for what you're getting, I think it's definitely worth it for a real feel Giga, nice new paint deco, a new Therizinosaurus with an awesome action feature. Again, that's just my opinion. I think it's definitely worth it to pick this one up, but that's just my own personal opinion. I'm very biased when it comes to my figures, so I really like these figures. This whole set, these two figures are easily a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. I'm really glad to have it in my collection to treasure forever. So yeah, really happy with them. And so that's where this video ends. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again for the next video.